working with pick lists in the PIM, we're going to have a look at this. So in the first instance, just going to have a look at how you set pick lists up and within the PIM itself, but this is for only administrators, so working with them. So basically this could be any object, which means any table or any menu within AP. We're specifically going to use the PIM as our example. Pick lists are sort of, you might know them as drop downs. So, they're basically lists where you can either choose one or more values from a pick list. So I'm working within a product, I can select various things. There are two types of pick lists within the PIM. One is a standard drop down where you can just select one value which you define within the pick list itself, or you can have a multi-select. Multi-select is obviously where you can select one or more values from the drop downs that you define. Equally, you can have pick lists that depend on others, so subcategories. Good example of that would be, if I'm in digital assets and I just want to, say select image, I've got a subcategory here of images, so I can sort of have some form of hierarchy within the system, and you can do all this. So how we do this is we go to our selected object. Could be we're creating a new one in our video. We're going to create a new one. We give it a name. We then add some values. Very importantly, we're also adding lookup codes. This is for use in integration. So, within an ERP, for example, you may have an item that has a code. So it's called, red, but in the ERP, its actual code is 01. So if you want to use integration to other systems, you need to add the code within AP in the pick list itself. You can equally support a default value. This is actually, which one appears first in the list. And then you can set parameters for the fields, etc. Adding that integration name, as I say, is important because that's the one that's going to be used, if you're integrating with an e-commerce or an ERP or WMS or some other system for this particular field. So, we need to add that into when we're creating it. Then effectively you've done it. Now you're just going to add it to any views or any search or searches, any edit or view pages, as part of this process. Or you could do that later. Doesn't really matter. This is just about creating or editing the field as well. It's equally as important that once you've got the field, if you want to add a new value to it, you do need to go through and add that value here, where you're adding the value and that, and you need to go that through your administrator. So let's have a quick look at how we do that. So we'll just go back to products just as an example. We're going to this is for administrators only who have this. So there's two ways that we could add fields, as you know. One is just on the design the page, and add a new field. The other way is the one I'm going to use is just go to the object definition. I go to fields. I want a new field. The field that I'm choosing is a pick list or a pick list multi-select. In this instance, I'm just going to choose the pick list. They're exactly the same elements. So in this instance, I'll just call it, for the purposes of this, test 1. It's we now need to add some values. So we've got two options. One is we can physically add the values here. So I'll call this test 1, and then our integration code, so we'll call it 10. Then add another one, test 2, which is 11, and then I could continue. So this is where you add values in the integration codes. Equally, I might have a whole load, so I could actually just just copy and paste them into the system. This is the old way of doing it, but if you've got a lot that you wanted to do, when you're setting up, this might be an easier way than just going one by one. Notice here that, however, the pipe signifies the code in AP. The next bit is you've just got, how do you want to index it? Do you want to sort them? Oh, I forgot we need to add a default. So this is the first one that will always show in the list. Could, say test 2 in this instance, if that's what I want. Then our integration name, our convention is sort of lowercase with no spaces in between. So this is the one that's going to be used for any integration ID for this field to other systems. So using BPA will from codeless platforms will automatically pick it up in their application platform connector. But equally, any integration into an e-commerce platform using our system will equally use this as its integration. You could add some help for users. So question mark come up, and when I save that, we've got an error on the page. Oh, this one's already used, so we'll call it test pick list. We like it when errors come. So obviously you could only have one unique integration name. So if we save that, the next thing it's going to ask us, do we want to add it to any pages? So I'll add it to a view page here, so we can actually see it on in there. Do we want to add it to any views? I'll not do that at this moment in time. And then we just save it. I'll just add it onto the page so you can see it. So I'll go back to I'll just go back to the page, to the PIM. I'll just go onto a page. I'll just add it into this section here so you can see it. So again, for administrators, design the page. I want to add it into just here under this section. So we'll just find the pick list I've just added. So we'll select it from the left-hand side, go down to pick lists, and it should be there any time soon. I called it. So under my pick lists, I called it test 1, which happens to be right at the bottom. I'll drag it onto the page, save the page, and there's my pick list with my selections, test 1, 2, which I'll save, and that's my pick list added to the page. So that's how you add pick lists to AP.